Hey guys, what's up? We are currently 616. We have an opponent rated 489 though. And we're going to use basic chess principles and we're going to try and win. I've had a request to be more punishing. Because it's kind of interesting. Okay, I'm going to play e5. So do let me know in the comments, okay. Do you want to see me playing at like 200, 300 points higher than my opponent to show you kind of what you need to do? Or do you want me to play like a 1500 killing a 500? I don't know. I guess you watch my channel because you want to know what I know, which isn't obviously everything, far from. Okay, this is the Leonardis variation. Now what I actually play f5 against this, which creates the reversed King's Gambit. So what's the issues here? Well, he's blocking in his light square bishop. He's not really controlling the center with this pawn. He's supporting this one. So I think we can just like develop normally. Start of the day for me, so I'll probably do a normal 15 plus 10 later on. Okay, so this is an interesting move. So this is like we've played e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. This, which is kind of slow. So obviously I want to develop my other pieces. My knight can come out, that's not a problem. Knights generally aren't in bishop's way anyway, so that's kind of a no-brainer. I want to get out both bishops. Now my dark squared bishop obviously can get out into the board. Where I don't want to put it is d6. Because d6 blocks in this bishop, which blocks in the d7 pawn, which blocks in the bishop on c8, and etc. So where does my bishop want to go? Well, it's got a couple of prospects, but let's stick it in the Italian position on the c-file, looking down not only at the f-pawn, but at the g1 square. What's important about that is that's where the king might go at some point. And then we can play d6. I mean, d5 is also playable. If they take, we could recapture with the queen. But that's sticking your queen in the board, out in the board for no really good reason. Plus, it's going to walk straight into knight c3 with tempo. Like you've played the Scandinavian, right? e4, d5, e takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c3, the most common move with tempo, forcing the queen to move again. Normally the queen will move all the way back home. Sometimes goes here. There are a few different moves in the Scandi. This pawn is under attack, it is defended. Okay, out comes the knight. Alright, no worries. So what's changed with that move? Well, the knight could come to this square. So I could play knight f6. Does it prevent that? No. If he goes in there, I could take him, he could take back with the pawn. I have to reroute my other knight, it's not really a problem. I'm just going to push d6. I'm going to give him that hole. If he wants to jump in that hole, he can do. Because sometimes you can let your opponent do something and then say, okay, well now I will contest it, rather than try and prevent you from doing it. There's a lot of cases of that you come across. Queen d2. Why did he make that move? Well, is he going to put his queen here? No. Is he going to put his queen here? No. Is he going to put his queen here? No. So yes, queenie has got onto a diagonal where there appear to be more squares, but there aren't really. There's only one. So is that your idea, Mr. White? Do you want to put your queen here? Well, if you do, why would she want to? Well, she's targeting g7. Now I could take with my queen, then the knight takes. Do we want to prevent or de-encourage this move? Can we deal with it if it happens? Well, we've got queen tension, but that's okay. Queen's defended by knight. But there is an undefended pawn. You make a good point. And quite often I talk to my opponents in this way when I'm playing and say, yeah, you're right, you're right. You're right about that. So h6 is an idea, and I'm going to play it. Because this is a defensive move, it's a prophylactic move. I'm preventing the bishop, the queen, and the knight potentially all from coming to this g5 square. So, although it seems like it might be slow to play something defensive, actually, well, white's just played queen d1 to d2. And now it's almost like saying, well, all these squares are out. So you've wasted your move as well. And what's more, how's this bishop going to get involved? Know what I mean? Okay, so bishop e2. White may be preparing to castle short. We should be thinking about our remaining minor pieces. Well, our knight has a very natural square. The only question is, would we want to break with the f-pawn at some point? So I'm going to play a quiet move. I'm going to play bishop d7. Never be afraid just to put your bishop just next to your king like that. Okay. All right, and we have castle. So black has shown his hand. So that instinctively makes me want to castle long because I love opposite side castling. Also, this move is now interesting. Right? It's a pawn break. It's like the reverse king's gambit that we might have played at the start. We are contesting the central pawn with a wing pawn, as in C's and F's, like the Sicilian. You know, the Sicilian e4 here, and that you're preventing this move, right? Or the Dutch, for example, you're preventing e4. Okay. Now, I might stick my knight there. The problem with sticking my knight there is queen e7 stuck in. Can I play f5 now, before castling? It's kind of unprincipled. But I do kind of like it. Because if he takes, I take back with the bishop, I've moved my bishop twice. Alright, I'm just gonna develop the queen, I'm gonna get my king to safety, and then we'll think about striking. Really, really good principle to bear in mind. Just line up. Oh, okay. Now we saw this move earlier on. This is annoying. This is very annoying. But well spotted by our opponent. Okay. Not sure on the point of that move, though. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to contest that knight with my knight. So he's going to come to one of these squares. The question is which one. Let's do him here. I'm not sure. I don't know why he played this move. That was an excellent move. This one, not so excellent. Now I'm really... And then notice knight can't go here because I've got two eyes on there. If he goes here, I could take it with the bishop, but I probably won't. Because that allows him to capture it with a pawn towards the centre, giving him a bit of a pawn mass in the centre and opening up his rook. And why would we want that when we haven't even castled our king? We wouldn't. Now, if he calls my bluff and I takes, I'll probably reroute my knight backwards, actually. He has called my bluff. This is the first thing I see. The queen's only retreat is, I can't even draw arrows today, is blocked by this. However, knight can take. So that actually blunders a piece. Yeah, knight takes, I take, queen takes. But if I take out the knight first, pawn takes, bishop here. Queen has this. My knight is under threat, and the queen actually attacks my knight. I don't think anything is gained with that course of events. So, how about bishop e6 puts two attackers on this knight. This knight is a pain. It's in my space. Like, this is my dance space, that is yours. I have a knight in my dance space. Also quoted by the band Idols in the song Consent, which is very good. Very good band. That's Idols, I-D-L-E-S. if you like a bit of punk, kind of with a lefty vibe to it, then you might like Idols. Our opponent's having a thinkaroo here. Now, so there's a present threat, and it's good to keep reminding yourself about what you're actually doing as well, because sometimes we can forget, especially if you're old and slow. But the other thing is, actually, I take the knight. You've got to be very careful with this. This is actually quite a common situation where you've got two knights and a bishop. Now, one common mistake is to take, it's not actually a problem right now, because we could like take pawn takes, there's nothing else defending. But now, actually right now, if I was to take pawn takes, Now this knight, we must notice, is pinned, because the bishop's in line with the queen. The opponent's not playing too badly here, actually. I could just drop my bishop back. The opponent's now looking at the b7 pawn, which is at present undefended. So if I drop my bishop back, I'm covering that pawn, and the bishop is defended twice. Not a bad thing. Well, can't the knight take it? Well, no, because the knight is pinned. So dropping the bishop back makes sense. Let's do that. Opponent's playing really well for somebody rated under 400. Really well. Okay, so pawn to c3. Now, let's go back to this. The mistake is knight takes knight, pawn takes with a fork on bishop and knight. Now, that wasn't a problem until the queen moved here to defend that square. It is not so much of an issue, for example, if I take with the bishop, because if I take with the bishop, pawn takes, my knight is under attack and can move. But now, I think we should seriously be thinking about completing development, and I'm going to castle short. I kept my options open. Ooh, hello. So do we see a problem with this move? So, really, really important. Don't just look at the position as it is. Look at what changed on each move. Okay, so what you go through what has changed. So, for example, apart from one thing, we've got 1, 2, 3 attackers. Okay, how many defenders though? Right, 1, 2, 3. That's fine. The bigger problem is, where was that pawn before? It was here. What was it doing? It was defending this and defending that. Now it is attacking this and controlling that. Right? But it's undefended that. So we can probably go right ahead and take out that pawn. What's interesting about that pawn is it's also the defender of the knight. So if I take, we've got an opened up file as well. I take here. I like to exploit this knight. I could take this as well. First. You don't have to just grab everything that's put in front of your face and stuff it into your mouth. We are not infants. And if you are an infant, you're on the wrong channel. Because every now and again, I use grown-up words. Like bum. Okay, so let's have a think. Just easing my way into the day, by the way. Yeah. Take. You could take that with the knight or the pawn. I can't really take that with the rook, because the rook would be giving up its life for a knight, and that's really not worth it. So take. I think we can do it. I think, because what I'm worried about, I don't really want to open up this d-file when it's got his rook on it and my queen. So I'm thinking by doing this and then probably pawn takes, yeah, I'm giving up a central pawn for a wing pawn. But that's not the end of the world, because we've also kind of, ooh, hello. There is a bit of a diag in there. Bit of a diag going on. Well, do I want to allow him to do this then? Because it also opens up this. Yes, indeed. So now actually if he takes, I missed something, didn't I? I can take here. For example, with the knight. If he takes, now it's very tempting to take with the bishop, and a lot of beginners do this and think, well, but this one comes with check. Check is a good thing. Well, check can be a good thing, right? But even better than a check can be the threat of a discovered check. So if you take with a knight, the king's suddenly sitting there going, meh, 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 because I've got a bishop here. And should this knight take the tiniest step, he's in check. And that then brings the threat of, for example, knight takes rook, or something even worse, if we can find something even worse. This knight is still pinned. Cannot take our bishop. Nuh-uh. Interesting move. Now, I take, I'm actually a pawn up. So I'm tempted to capture here. Surprisingly good game, has to be said. I can't take the knight. Well, I can. So, yeah, it's the difference, isn't it? Interesting choice of language. I can't take the knight. Well, I can take the knight. So it's more a question of if bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, then what? That's the kind of language to use. Okay. But again, the threat of the pin is worse than the execution. I mean, that's just cashing in for equal value. It's pointless. So if I take here, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. If I allow him to take, I could take back with a knight. I don't know. Can we dissuade the queen from defending the knight? For example, like a5, a4, etc. Queen can still go here. I don't know. I'm down to 5 minutes too, so we better decide on something quite quick. How about this? I'm just going to do this move. It's kind of tricky. Now, interestingly, the knight can take my knight. The reason is it comes with check. So if knight takes knight here, I recapture with the queen. I connect my rooks, finally, and then white has to deal with this. There's another advantage of having a knight on these squares, is that they are just one jump away from giving check. Notice this is the queen's knight. 1, 2, 3, check. Yeah, same in here. 1, 2, 3, check. Or to this square. There's 2 squares that can do it. So I lose 46 rating points if I lose this game. Okay. This is interesting. So he's blinked. So what I notice here is 2 attackers on the knight, 2 defenders, but look at the values. Look at the relative values of the pieces. There is also bishop tension. Now, if I take here with the bishop, for example, I'm attacking the queen, but the queen can't take the bishop because then knight takes queen, right? Same, but also rook. Rook takes. I take rook. Queen takes here. Probably I take bishop. So everyone dies, but I think I come out slightly better. I'm plus 3 materials right now. If we have trade, then I'm plus 2 materials. I'm actually up an exchange. So present issue, queen there. Now if the queen just runs away, I remain up a full piece, and the queen has just run away. Off she runs. She's attacking my knight. Now, my knight is defended by my bishop. That's okay. I can take this pawn. Probably should. Yeah. Actually, white now has takes... Oh, no, I can take that with the queen. Oh, drop a pawn all the way back in return. Okay, so I'm up material, up a full piece. So what I'm going to do now is simplify, trade off. This knight is vulnerable. Defended, defended, defended. Obviously, obviously, obviously. Queen defends that, nothing defends that, and the rooks have obviously got each other's backs. Okay. Now we have a little bit of an aperture, as you might say. I'm still nervous about this. My bishop's actually in a pin. We don't want that. So how about like queen here? Something like that. My knight defends the bishop, but the bishop is currently in danger of being attacked by a pawn. We've got to be conscious of these things. So do I actually want to break the pin entirely in one move by playing like queen e8? I rather think I should. Even though I don't have brilliant squares to go to, because the knight guards here, bish guards here, queenie guards that. So it's out, 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 out. Not good. But we are up a piece. Hooray. Also looking for tactics and tic-tacs. If that now, I can just drop back, for example. If knight takes bishop, I have knight takes bishop, queen defends that knight. Because currently, the bishop's the only defender of that knight. Don't understand the point of that move. I'm very much inclined to play this. Okay, well, I can't, yeah, kind of. Attacking that, but look, it's defended by bishop, queen, rook, and then king. So I'm going to drop my knight back. I'm going to consolidate. Now I have two knights defending the bishop. I'm attacking this bishop that's currently undefended. Bam, 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 right? I'm inclined to play c6, keep my bishop in the middle of the board, keep eyeing down on here. I'd like to bring my queen, can I come to here, since the bishop vacated that square on e2. Okay, all worth bearing in mind. I would love to reconnect my rooks. They get unhappy when they're separated. This just loses a piece for a pawn. It just doesn't work. Ooh. Board order for next Thursday will be Stefan, George, Amar, Kevin, based on up-to-date gradings, okay? So I'm not on, yeah, because I'm playing on Monday for the B team. That's a C team message. So we're doing jolly well. We're doing fine. We're up a piece. Opponent is not playing like a sub 500, however. Also notice if this knight is also undefended, right? Get into the habit of just clocking anything that's undefended, right? At all times. We have 3 undefended pieces. And then once you do that, that then says, well, if, for example, I move this knight to here, okay, it hangs, but, you know, that's not the point. That's a blunder. Just loses the bishop, yeah? You've got the idea of this, but it's still defended 4 times. Yeah, it's just a blunder. That's defended. It's still defended 3. Okay, and resigns. Interesting one. Interesting one. I thought my opponent played quite well. And let's have a quick look at the game review. Does it give you a guess the ELO on this? I don't know. Okay, so we played 70 accuracy on there. Okay, so they've rolled out Guess the Elo. So my opponent played 550. I thought he played a bit better than that. And we played at 750. Level. With 1 miss. No blunders, but 3 mistakes. So my mistakes came where? Here. Retreating the knight. That capture was wrong. This was also wrong. You ignored the opportunity to win a knight. Okay, surprised me. So Jensen. Yeah, it's all a bit fishy. But point is, job done. Job done. And we've moved up in... Jensen, pack it in. No one wants to listen to that. Rapid rating has gone up to 638, so excellent. Yeah, well, you know, not fantastic quality for me, but first video of the day. I hope I've explained some stuff in a way that just gets, if you're a beginner, if you're around this level, that it gets your thinking shifting just a little bit. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.